What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, my name is Jacques Smith from SSBB, and this is my 96 BMW E36 328i that we are converting into a full-on race car. Today we are going to cover the engine build and finalizing this engine, getting it stuck in. So we are going to go through doing the compression ratio, doing the assembly, then there's some oil pump modification we need to do, then we need to do the cam timing, we need to rebuild the Vanos, and then we need to put this puppy in. So we started off with measuring the compression ratio. The reason I've done this is we need to know where I am with the compression, because this was a 328 motor, but now it has a E46 330 crank, that's the M54 B30 crankshaft. It then also has 325i pistons, so that is the M52 B25 piston. What that means is that the gudgeon pin sits lower down on the piston sits higher up. That's going to give you additional compression ratio, and we covered that a bit in the last video, and then how we machine the piston ducts. But now we need to know where are we with the number, because that's going to affect what fuel we run. This is the tail. This is how we measure the compression ratio. This is a special assembly loop that keeps oil on the bearings and kind of protects it against during startup. Okay, then the bolts with the lube on it. So there, get me the impact wrench please. Okay, then we'll go through, put all of them in, torque it from inside to out, check that it spins, and then we'll move on to the conrods. So from here, after we know what the compression ratio is, we just move on to the assembly, and this just means going through the tedious task of just slowly assembling each piston, cleaning everything, the piston, the gudgeon pin, the conrod, putting the new conrod bolts in, getting all of that stuff together individually, and then slowly assembling each cylinder. We obviously had to do the crankshaft first for the compression, which we did. Yeah, and that's that. Let's move on. got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So we're going 30 newtons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Woo. 30 newtons, 90, 90. Let's do it. 1, 14. Alright. Stage 1 done. It's actually stage 2. Okay, last one. 1, 14. So that's the cylinder head done. Alright, so after the actual assembly was done and we put the cylinder head on, there is a small mod that gets done on the oil pump. So obviously I had to first rebuild the oil pump, but there's a tensioner that the guys have suggested that I put onto the low tension side. The reason we do that is on the deceleration. So when you get off of the power, so let's say you're in third gear, you foot flat, the car revs out, you get off of the power, the RPM starts to come down. Then the low tension side starts to jump like this. And that's when there could be a potential for slippage, or it's also when it spins off the nut off of the oil pump. So we do a modification, we do 2 modifications to that. This is how we do it. Alright, so where I left you last was we put the cylinder head on. That was during the week, one of the nights, I can't remember, it's all a blur. What we need to do now is I want to try to get the sump onto this engine today. There's a few things we have to do, a couple of modifications. The one is we need to reassemble the oil pump. We need to install an oil pump chain tensioner. That is a mod that is done. It's quite common on these motors. And that's to take up the slack on the chain for the oil pump so that on deceleration it doesn't jump a tooth. And that's quite common. We need to modify the nut for the oil pump. That's also a common mod. You drill a hole, lock wire the nut on. What else do we have to do? We have to modify the sump because I took that baffle out to clean it, and then pretty much put it on. That is the goal. So it's a bit ridiculous. It's a lot of work, but these are all the things that need to be done. So we're going to start by taking this cover off and getting to it. I put this cover on for a reason. I think that was just to make sure that the head gasket was flat when I put the cylinder head on. It's not ideal that I'm taking it off now, but I wanted to get the head on so it's out of the way. This can be taken off afterwards. So let's hope I don't mess anything up here. Alright, so as I said before, a common thing is to drill a hole in this nut so we can lock wire it to stop it from spinning off. So there is only one way this thing can go. We're going to do this main bolt now. The torque for that is 190 newtons, which is an incredible number. 1, 2, 6. Boom shakalaka. Right, so also with the kit is this button type clutch, but it has springs in it. So this is going to be quite good. Hopefully it'll stand up to the abuse. Now we must use one of these. Now I must see where they marked this thing. Let's just get one in. Good. Okay, we need locking tight on all these. The plan is we're going to put the gearbox into the space now, and then we're going to bring the engine around, connect it in situ. So we're going to have to move the subframe with the dampers. So let's do that. It's all the small things that are getting us now. This is part of the gear selector, so we're just cleaning this up. This is going to go on. I think I made a mistake. The back of the gearbox must come towards me. Gearbox mounts in. We must go over towards the other side. It's been there since the beginning of time. Not too far over this side. So there we go, it is in. Man, it is now the next day. That took us a long time, and we really battled with so many little things. And it's just, because it's a new build, there's just so many little things that catch you. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting because all of this, except for this intake, came out of this car, but so you would think that it would go back easily, but because the exhaust headers are from an E36 M3, the S52, they don't go back straight in. You know, there's a little clash here or something there, and so man, it took us a long time. A lot of small little issues, one small mistake which we battled with at the end. That engine mount, so that is the, in our cars it's the driver's side, so if you're sitting in the car, the right hand side engine mount, we put it on a couple of the bolt holes too far forward, so we couldn't get the subframe lined up properly, and that stuffed us around. But the gearbox is in. You can see the gearbox is mounted. It is in. It is in. So that is a massive milestone for us now. So what we can do is we can carry on now from here with the rear end, because a key thing was to get the balance of the car on the trestles correct, because if we put the whole rear end in, the car would want to jump off of the jack stands. So there's still quite a bit to do in terms of buttoning it up. I have to fit this bracket, we need to put the alternator on, we've got to put the water pump on, we need to finalize the intake. So there's still quite a bit to do. Got to sort out, sorry, the dogs are barking, got to sort out the Vanos supply. So yeah, still quite a bit to do. Another challenge we ran into, the valve cover gasket that was supplied with the gasket set is for the plastic gasket. So, sorry, the plastic valve cover. So you get two different types on this motor, this M52. So, sweet, love it. These are the challenges filming at home. Anyway, so anyhow, so that gasket is not going to work. So the valve cover is not on permanently. So there's like 1,000 little jobs like this that we have. So anyhow, that's going to be a wrap for this episode. I hope you like this format. It's crazy. We have so much we need to push through now from here. But getting this puppy in was a big milestone. The gear linkage is set up. I'm not sure if it's right. We just put it in. So from here, put the rear end in, try to get the drive shaft in, place that bearing. We got to overhaul the rear end, and then we need to start putting the whole front together pretty much. Fuel lines, I managed to get a fuel pump for the back. But we'll go over that in a separate episode. Thank you for watching. Please support us, share this, like this. Got some cool stuff coming up. We'll catch you next time. Ciao.